Hello everyone, it's Billy. Welcome or welcome back to my channel where testing affordable beauty products or drugstore beauty products. And today's video I'm going to testing this velvet sponge compared to this one, which is a normally sponge from Real Technique that I normally use. So if you guys like to know, is it good or is it suited with you, please keep on watching. I finished my eye makeup, and yes, of course, today I'm going to testing these two sponges. So this one is from Real Technique, is the one that I normally use. I know that you will be like, Rin, you should clean it and maybe you should change it. So I know that, please ignore about that. So this one I really love because it gave me a decent coverage when I use with a foundation. So today I'm going to test this one, which is a velvet sponge. I'm pretty sure that a lot of people have been talking about these, and maybe some of you already have it on your hand, but I got this one for a while and I don't have any chance to test it with me, I mean even off camera. So I think this is going to be a good time to test it with you in front of camera. And yes, of course, today I'm going to test with this Maybelline Fit Me foundation, and as you already know, this foundation is light to medium coverage. So yes, let me try this foundation with this sponge compared to a normal one that I normally use. So it's going to be like this side, which is right hand side of me, using this velvet sponge, and then the left hand side I'm going to use a normal sponge. Okay, first of all I feel, I think I don't really like the feeling of the velvet sort of things. It's like, compared to the normal sponge that I use, like from Real Technique, I think it's like the product or the foundation, it's singing to your face. Compared to this one, it's like it not sink into my face, it's just like sit there on top of my skin. Well, maybe you like it, but for the coverage I think it gave a pretty good coverage, to be honest. As you can see under my eyes, and some blemishes down here. Yes, in terms of the coverage, I think it gave you a really good coverage, but I'm not getting used to it. That's why I don't really like the feeling of it. What's wrong with me? I can't talk today. So yes, I think it's okay. So let me try this side with a normal sponge from Real Technique, and yes, I will tell you how I feel. So do you know what I mean? It's like when I use this sponge, it's like sink into my skin, which I like. Compared to this side, it's just sit there. It's not sink into my skin. That's how I feel. So I guess if you want to make a medium coverage foundation to full coverage foundation, you could maybe use with that sponge. It will be better compared to this one. As you can see, yes, this side also you can still see some blemishes, but in terms of my cheek area, this side it does a pretty good job. Compared to this side, you can see some blemishes, things like that. Well, because I have a really oily skin, that's why I prefer this side. Because, well, even I have an oily skin and my skin is not perfect, I still prefer not a full coverage foundation. I prefer like light to medium coverage foundation and lightweight. That's the key. Because yes, well, I just want my skin, well, at least like they can breathe, if you know what I mean. But yeah, you don't mind that, so maybe you will love this side because you know, it doesn't take time to build more coverage. I mean, compared to, I mean, like this side is like, you know, one time and you get a really good coverage, but this side maybe you have to build it to make it full coverage, like the coverage or the things that you want to cover it. So, but for me, I prefer this side. I still prefer the normal sponge. I'm back and I finished the rest of my face off camera because I don't want to take this video too long. And to be honest, I still prefer the Real Technique one because it makes the foundation sink into my skin. But I'm not a big fan of the velvet sponge because it doesn't, like I already said in the video, it doesn't make the foundation sink into my skin, but it gives me a pretty good coverage. I mean, if you want to make your foundation, which is light to medium coverage foundation, to be a full coverage foundation without mixing some other things, and you don't have to waste your time to use a concealer after that, so I recommend this one because it gives you a pretty good coverage. It also makes, this is my opinion, I think it also makes light to medium coverage to be a full coverage foundation. So this is what I love about these sponge, but I still prefer the Real Technique one because, like I said, because in Thailand, I think because in Thailand it's really warm, that's why I prefer the sponge that make the product sink into my skin. Instead, it sits on top of my skin. So if I have a chance to go back to England, I think I would try this sponge when I am there too, because the weather it completely changed. Maybe I love it when I'm there and using these ones, because a lot of products that I use there, like while I'm there, I use it and I really love it. But when I come back here, I don't think it suits in a really warm country like Thailand. And that is my personal opinion about these two sponges. So again, if you have any favorite product from drugstore, you could tell me in the comment below. And also, if you have any questions, you can also ask me with #rinsequestions in the comments as well. Thank you so much for watching and see you next video. Bye!